I think that at this time I'll open it up for questions and ask if there are questions from you. And I have to also say this, that one of my finest teachers from SMU, from Perkins School of Theology, is here tonight. And if I said anything wrong,
he'll tell you.
I would like for him to not only correct me, but I'll blame him for teaching me wrong. No, I think that Dr. Leroy Howe is right over here. He's a wonderful teacher, Perkins School of Theology at SMU. I just wanted to acknowledge his presence tonight, too. So are there questions? Yes?
I think I missed, why is it called Good Friday? I think in one day.
That's a great question. That's a great. The question is, why is it called Good Friday? It's strange that we would call that Friday good, on which Christ was crucified. And the bottom line is that the ultimate purpose, that God used that horrible death on a cross, that God used that for good purposes, that God took a horrible act and turned it for good. And so we call that day, because it is the day God took that wrong and used it to bring about a good result. The way that God works in our lives is that God can take our stumbles, our falls, and all of our bad things in life and turn them towards some good purpose. God is always at work for good. Our scriptures tell us that God is always at work for good. And so God took the horrible events of Jesus' death on a cross and turned it to good. So we call that day Good Friday.
So if something bad happened to us in our life, so God may rise this up as a very good thing, right? So what do you think about it?
I'm sorry.
So if there's something happened very bad in our lives, it might have raised up as a very good thing by God, right?
Yes, if something bad happened in our lives, God could use that towards some good purpose. Yes.
In Afghanistan, Iran, Central Asia, probably in Turkey, we have a day, we call it Nowruz, or New Day, the first day of the spring. So even in Egypt, they have Shamun Nasim, they call it. So in pagan tradition, as you said, in the spring, they had a day, they were celebrating it. And when Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, immigrated from Mecca to Medina, he found a group of people there celebrating that day, Nowruz. So do you think there is a connection between all these religions?
You tell me. It may be that there's a common theme among our religions, that God is a God who raises up new life.
I have a question. Actually, when I was listening to you about Jesus being raised up, I was impressed. Actually, quite honestly, I was touched. According to my belief, according to Islam, we believe that he was walking under the shadows of crosses, and among the people who were trying to kill him, he was still trying to save people. So I found some similarities, and there are some differences, but we also believe he was raised up to the heaven, and he's still alive. That we believe. Now my question is, again, from my belief, we believe that he's going to come back. There are some differences whether he's going to come back in person or at the end of the time when there is hatred all around. He's going to come back and revive the peace and love. So what do you think about that?
We believe that Jesus will come again. We say it this way in our in our Sunday liturgy, Christ has come, Christ has died, Christ is risen, Christ will come again. So we believe that He will come again to judge the living and the dead, and bring the culmination of the world to God's purposes. So yes, we share that belief in the second coming of Christ, that He will come again.
What is the meaning of Sabbath?
Sabbath?
Yeah, Sabbath.
Sabbath is the day of rest, and it's the day of, it's
Is it
Saturday.
So, is there any, linguistically, any meaning for that?
It is,
What language is that? Is it Aramaic or Hebrew?
I think it's Hebrew.
Hebrew.
It is,
Shabbat?
I think it means seven, related to the number seven.
Seventh day.
Seven?
Seven. Sept. September is also related to the
There are Christians who still worship on the Sabbath day. They still believe that we are to keep Sabbath, so they worship on the seventh day. The majority of Christians around the world worship on Sunday as we call it the Lord's Day, because that's the day of resurrection, the day He was raised on Sunday. So that's the day that we hold our worship services and have us. And really each Sunday is in a lot of our Methodists probably don't know this, but each Sunday is supposed to be a little Easter. It's supposed to be a celebration of the resurrection. Every Sunday is in a sense a little Easter, a celebration of resurrection. And it should be a part of everything that we do as Christians. We believe that the resurrection should be central to everything that we do.
Maybe the last question, it's getting late, but maybe not the most important one. Where is that egg hunting coming from?
I didn't mention the bunnies and the eggs, yes. Yes. That's the part all the children want to know about. And that comes out of it really comes out of that old pagan tradition of new life, and so it comes out of this and it's been built up through I think Madison Avenue in New York City is the marketing and the commercialization of this. The Easter Bunny. The tradition is the Easter Bunny comes and delivers eggs. And I have to confess to you, when I was a child, this is the most disturbing thing. You're trying to learn about how animals, different animals, and Easter bunnies and chicken eggs. So the Easter Bunny comes around with a little basket and hides chicken eggs that are painted and all the spring colors, and that's the tradition. You go around and find the eggs and collect all the eggs, and children love to do that. And when I was a child, it was more about not the eggs, but about the candy the Easter Bunny brought. The Easter Bunny would bring candy. We just thought that was wonderful. So a lot of Christian families, and I think a lot of families across faiths do some kind of a celebration of Easter with an Easter Bunny and an egg hunt, and they'll do candy and eggs, and I know in my family on the Saturday night before Easter, my children were little, and we still do this, even though they're a little bit older. We dye Easter eggs, and they take those hard-boiled eggs. We dye them. Sometimes we'll write our names or put stickers on them, and we don't hide them anymore. But when the kids were little, we would hide them, and they'd come out on Easter morning and search for the eggs. And that's just kind of more of a cultural tradition than anything of religious significance. It really has no religious significance to us as Christians, but it is part of the cultural celebration of Easter. It's kind of like how Christmas for Christians is really all about the birth of Jesus Christ, but in a cultural expression, it's all about Santa Claus and the giving of gifts. But it's in our